There are a lot of people who say Tesla is just a car company. We know that's not true, but there are more people still who say it's just a company. And I think it might be more than that. So I've asked my good friend, President Joe from the San Joaquin Tesla Owners Club, to help us understand what Tesla means to him and to people even beyond Tesla. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. Joe, how are you? And what's going on?
Before I answer any of your questions, is that tree real in the back?
It is not. It is not. It is a plastic
Oh,
lemon tree. It is
oh
a
man.
dark little cave in here. It is not habitable for any form of life, myself included, which is why I, adorn it with ornaments and myself with so much makeup, so much. It
No, yeah,
makes me beautiful.
yeah. Your makeup lady before you came on and she took off before. Yeah, it's like I was like, wow, that's nice. I wish I had a powder.
Got 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 the little apron, little bib. So I think you are uniquely qualified to answer why Tesla is more than a company, why it's special in ways that even Apple, with its rabid fandom, has never quite achieved. Tell me what Tesla is to you.
Yeah, for me, Tesla's unique in that regard that like I was a fan early on of Elon and the fact that they were trying to make an electric sports car. But I mean, because at that time, like in the early 2000s, everything looked like I don't know, like a cheese wedge or just a brick. So I think it was just a really unique time where people really wanted something more out of the gas prices and everything else that was happening and just vehicles in general. But then Tesla came up. But for me, I think the reason why it's more than just a car company is because look at us and look at this situation, right? Like people are able to make podcasts, people are able to make daily videos, people are able to freaking host events, people are able to do all kinds of stuff just on the brand alone. And before, I never really saw this except for with like old school cars or Corvettes.
I was
And
going to say Corvettes. That's the one that came to mind.
yeah, like that was it. I mean, I like even back in the day with the little Honda clubs and stuff, the STIs, they don't really do huge events and there's nobody talking about STIs daily. You know, you know,
Right.
my STI weekend. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing a my Honda weekend or my
My
Toyota.
Nissan Quest weekend.
Yeah. It just
Not a
doesn't.
thing.
Yeah, it's just it really came. Tesla really came on at a unique time when people wanted something more out of what they were getting in the marketplace, and also they had a well, what's his personality? Kind of eccentric, kind of just well, okay. So this is what I think about Elon. So I think that he's one of those type of people that doesn't come along very often. You know what I mean? Like he speaks daily to like just regular folk, whereas Jeff Bezos doesn't really talk daily to anybody. You know what I mean? Like you really are tapped into one of the richest people in the world, and he talks as a regular person. Yeah, he's fallible because he makes mistakes like everybody else, but luckily that we get to see his mistakes on display and we can people can judge him on that or whatever. You have no idea what Mary Barra thinks about people. You have no idea what Jeff Bezos thinks about people because they're not daily putting their lives out there. And I think that kind of plays into it. I think him being the eccentric personality that he is, and him not really being so, he's not like a RJ Scaringe, right? He's not like, he doesn't speak eloquently. He doesn't like have this mannerisms and all these things that are like so amazing that you're like, oh man, yeah, like Peter
He,
Rollison, you know what I mean?
uh, Peter, you can't. His accent is load bearing. It's the only reason that
Yep.
company's still afloat. The thing with a lot of executives is that they intentionally isolate themselves in ivory towers. If
Yeah.
you look at GM's headquarters, it's a big skyscraper downtown Detroit. but it's nowhere close to any of the factories. If it's 4:30 on a Friday and there's a problem at Dearborn, they ain't driving out till Monday, if at all. By then, I'm sure it'll be fine. Who cares, right? Uh, and with Jeff Bezos, forget about talking to regular people. I don't think he makes eye contact with his servants on a daily basis. But that's only because he doesn't blink. I'm convinced. You can't convince me otherwise. Richest person among the richest. No, power is what it is. He's influential. When he uh,
Yeah.
comes up with an idea, it gets attention, whether that's for good or bad. And like you said with the personality, there are people I've seen who every quarter after earnings will say, he needs to get off the call. He's not a good speaker. Guys, we're talking fundamentals. The numbers are the numbers, regardless of who says them. If you have a problem,
Facts.
if you think the share price is low because he's not eloquent, what a great time to load up on more shares, because at some point someone else will be doing the calls and he'll be
Right.
on Mars, I assume, back with his people, as one hopes to do. And then he will have, and then of course the stock price will explode because someone spoke pretty one day. That's just how it works, of course. And you've got a lot of silliness along those lines where there was people saying the panel gaps are atrocious. Oh my gosh, I would never buy a car with this kind of panel gaps. And I say, those will be sorted out in due time. And when they do, hold on to your butt cheeks, my friend, because it's going to be the best-selling car in the world. Hey, did you hear what that the panel gaps on the Model Y are pretty good now? And how's that selling? I forget. For I
Well, I hate to break the news to you, Brian.
mm-hmm.
It's not doing so well. It's just
Oh,
1.2 million for the past year, and it was just it happened to outsell every vehicle, gas or electric, for the year. So yeah, it's slumping
that's
times.
terrible. That's
Yeah,
terrible. I'm
it's rough.
so sad to hear this. And I'll tell you, when Elon said it could be the best-selling car, I didn't believe it because it's too
Nope.
expensive. The most expensive car is never the best-selling. It can't be,
Right.
except that the value proposition is so strong. It's
Yeah.
it is more than just a company. Uh, there
So that's my
is
answer.
yes,
So what Tesla means to me is community, because it is more than just a company. It brings together all these people from different backgrounds, and I mean, in different everything, and puts them together in into this whatever I mean, not just Tesla, but just in general. Like, I have friends that have F-150s, and I have friends that have Lucids and things like that. But I mean, just it's just a big community. People just really want to be together, and that's what Tesla means to me, is community and togetherness.
when I talk to people who are huge fans of things like Corvettes or Mustangs, I ask them, "Oh, the C7, that was a good one. Who designed it?" No, they don't know. I'm sure there is a Corvette fan who knows, but
Right.
everybody knows who Franz is.
Yep.
Uh, you know, you go to the shareholder meeting, and everyone there knows at least a third of the people on stage, but some of us know all of them by name, by
Yeah.
face. Some of them I don't recognize by face, but by voice because I only hear them on calls. But uh, yeah, you hear me. Oh, I know who that is. But there are it is a different kind of company. It is more exciting, and you watch the innovations they're doing. If Tesla was just building, if they'd built the Model S and then the X, and then just built, you know, more cars like it, didn't push the boundaries with autonomy, with new voltage architecture that the industry has been clamoring for 40 years, with all these amazing things, the community would not be what it is. And it's a community. And
Yeah,
for
100%.
for those who don't know, Joe here is the president of the San Joaquin Owners Club, and they are one of the big sponsors, the big organizers of the X takeover that happens in
Yeah.
California each year, formerly the Tesla takeover. But this year it's going to be a little more exciting because it's bringing in more topics that a lot of us also find fascinating. The disruption of SpaceX, the
Yes.
the simple, elegant beauty of things like the boring tunnel. You've ridden the boring tunnel, have you?
Vegas.
Yeah, it's boring. I love it. It's not exciting. It's not meant to be. It just works.
It
Uh,
just works.
it just works. It's had one traffic jam in its history, and it was at CES 2022. In 2023, it was fixed. Or I'm sorry, 23, but now 24 I went. 24 had higher attendance than 23. No traffic jam. And still no waiting. The tunnel, it just works. So, any thoughts on the people who say it's a cult?
Yeah. Um, I was thinking about this as I was sacrificing my chicken for, I just because because I
Mm-hmm.
have to
Mm-hmm.
I have to
Yep.
sprinkle, I mean, the blood on the hood of the car, or else it won't work.
Right.
Elon's got to get his. So no, I really don't think about the cult reference a lot, because for me, like, I'm not like an Elon zealot, and I'm not like a Tesla zealot to where I don't understand that there's other vehicles out there. You know what I mean? If you're not a fan of this, then guess what? This might work for you. I got a cousin that bought a Mach E recently. You know what I mean? And because she didn't want to have a Tesla, she just everybody in the family has Teslas. You know what I mean? And she's like, I don't want a Tesla. So I said,
Yeah.
well, the next best thing is to get a Mach E. You know what I mean? I got to bash her for it. Like, man, some of these people get really wild online, man. But no, I've just never been that way. I've always been a realist. I've always been like about the community. Like for me, like that's why I'm the president of the club, because I want the members to have a really good experience. I want them to enjoy the brand. I want them to just enjoy the decisions that they made, and that's really what I think, like what X Takeover is. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I mean it's a takeover, but it's an everything takeover. Like we invited like Lucids and all kinds of people, like last year and the year before, and I mean it's our fourth year, so I mean it's going to be a pretty big event.
Last year, I remember seeing a Lucid for sure, a Lightning for sure, Rivian or two for sure. And Aptera was there with their cool little, hopefully going to come to market, three-wheel spaceship. Uh,
Yes.
because to me, it is more than about just Tesla. It is about, it is about damn time, is what it is. It is all of that
Facts.
facts. And we've got, the future's here. Do you want do you want to spend more money than you need to for every aspect of vehicle ownership? And the people with all the nonsense are just spouting nonsense. And to the cult thing, what I would say is this isn't a Tesla thing. This is an everything thing. There are people who, when you say, I don't like the fact that Hulu's ad free plan sometimes has ads, I've had people attack me on social media for saying that. How dare you? Right, but I mean it just does. Do you work for Hulu? I don't understand what's going on here.
Right.
And the same with Microsoft. People, will say I prefer, Apple over PC, and Microsoft fans get rabid. And whenever I say anything negative about VinFast or Lucid or what's the one with the Neo with the battery swaps, people lose their minds, and I don't think they're in a cult. I just think they have very strongly held
Right.
opinions, many of which may be motivated by their portfolio, even if the facts don't stand on their side. So
Well,
I'm,
everybody's got to go for the next Tesla, right? It's like that's always
yeah,
like the next thing. What's wild to me is that we're entering a really nuanced area where, like let's say horses. Everybody had horses, and they were like no big deal. Now you have to have some money to have a horse. I think gas vehicles are going to be the same way. Like you're going to have to be a rich person to want to fill up your car all the time. Like
right?
I mean, we're already like crossing that barrier to where it's like that fundamentally doesn't make any sense. You're really just buying it just because you want to. And I understand enthusiasts and things like that. I mean, I'm all for that. I get that.
Sure.
There's always going to be enthusiasts. Like I was at Lodi has car shows near my city. There's a city called Lodi, and they do car shows once a month on Sundays, and it's a lot of old school cars. There's just some EV conversion things like that there, but I mean, those body styles, they don't make them anymore. You know what I
No.
mean? I got a friend on Instagram. His name is Kevin, and he has a he did an old Charger, and it is amazing. Right now, he's converting a it's Mr. Mopar Man on IG, but he is converting a DeLorean to electric right now.
Hmm.
Freaking incredible, man. I mean, sometimes you just got to go for the body, but he's putting Tesla motor and Tesla batteries in it, and you know what I mean. Just, but yeah, we're just crossing that threshold to where it's going to be like, oh, you got a gas car. Well, look at you.
And I'll point out there are still steam locomotives, and they cost more to ride, and people will ride them because of the novelty. That doesn't mean they don't have a place in history. That doesn't mean they don't have a place in, I don't know, theme parks, I guess. There are still, I saw an interesting ship on television once that was still steam powered. It was a steam powered yacht from like 100 years ago, and it was preferable to the diesel because it doesn't vibrate. It's silky smooth in its
Oh,
operation.
that's awesome.
Yeah, despite being a bit cumbersome to keep
Right.
operational. So yeah, I would say Tesla is a community. The people I've met, the opportunities I've had, the events I've gone to, the sheer amount of news coming out every day is exciting. And when we push back, when people like you and I push back on the nonsense, it's not because we're in a cult, it's because that particular thing is nonsense. There are people who love to troll my comments and say silly things, but sometimes they say things that are accurate. One guy said, who's always hating, said, "I can't trust FSD until it can handle a 2-lane roundabout." And I said, "You know what? There's a 2-lane roundabout in my town, and it does not handle it well, even at night, even when no cars are around." And I can admit that because I'm not in a cult.
Yeah.
So, guys, this summer, what are the dates for the X Takeover?
The 27th, 28th July.
Wow, it's coming up. I know it's crazy, but that's going to be on top of us any second.
Yeah, we've announced Franz and Jared Isaacman from
From
Inspiration
space,
4 from
from
space.
space, uh, and all your favorite big names are going to be there. You can look at last year's lineup to get an idea of the kinds and caliber of people. And this year it's going to be bigger because this year it's not just Tesla, it's X Takeover. So we're going to see some very exciting names. And yeah, it's
Brian's
going to,
name.
you'll see my name. I will absolutely be there. I would not miss it. But then again, I'd say for anything. But then I realized, no, last year you got sick, and that would make me also not go as if I got sick. And we missed you. So this year you
Oh
will
yeah.
have to not get sick so we can see you. And I hope to see all of you guys there too. In the comments, what do we miss? What do we misunderstand? What did you sacrifice onto the hood of your car to make sure that it works properly? For everybody else, like, subscribe, do the usual things. Maybe go follow Joe there on the old X. He's followable. And for everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.